Jesus, it's cold. I guess I have jackets over there, huh? Hey guys, welcome to Gear Tasting. Today I am going to unbox a new device on the market called the Duo Personal Security Sensor. Sorry, I had to memorize that because I want to say personal security service or something like that. Anyway, Duo Personal Security Sensor, and we're getting a first look at this. I'm about to unbox it. This is something that's not quite on the market yet, but there's a wait list that's going for these. So the way that I think about this, it's really cold in the warehouse too, by the way, but I'm going to go ahead and unbox this while I'm talking. The way that I think about this device is, if you're familiar with Spy Tech toys, which I grew up with those, and there used to be a thing called the security alarm or security detector. I think it was alarm. Anyway, so it was this little device that was this size, and it had a little tube on it that would read light variation. So whenever you crossed the path, the alarm would go off and boop, 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 boop. So as a kid spy, I used to put them in drawers or in the hallway, so when someone would walk by, it would, alarm. This is kind of a grown-up adult version of that. So what this does, as I unbox it here, is that it sends you a text alert, and I believe it's got a SIM card in it, but it sends you a text alert whenever it detects motion. I love that. Got Facebook notes. So this is what it looks like. And whenever it detects motion through, I imagine it's kind of a light variation. I'm not sure what kind of technology it uses yet. I obviously just unboxed it. I'm not sure of the device or how it works, but it does have a SIM card in here in the bottom. So there's the SIM Tech. I don't know if that's the name of I would imagine that's the name of the company that did this, but I think it's called the Duo. There's a external antenna, it looks like a magnet mount antenna, and then another antenna here. Yeah, so it's a magnetic antenna, fits in the back. I would assume that it locks in somehow, but that's the antenna. So what we've got here is a small portable device that runs off of a SIM card. So if you can imagine your device, your phone, getting an alert whenever something moves past this, or whether it detects motion. So I'm not sure exactly how the technology works yet, but this almost looks like a light meter. So if you're ever familiar with photography and light meters, it's kind of got that dome like a light meter. So I would imagine it does detect light variations because of the shape of that, and it's got this hex pattern inside of it. But it sends you an alert to let you know someone's moved it. So if you put it in a desk drawer, or you put it in they have a picture showing a suitcase on the website, so I'm not sure whether the jostling of a suitcase would set it off or not, but the motion itself is going to alert you that someone's in the area, or they're moving something that they shouldn't be. So it's basically like a way for you to know when somebody's doing something they shouldn't be. The external antenna here, I imagine, goes in the same port. Yep. So this is a magnet mount antenna as well, because if it works off a SIM card, it's got to send a signal. So there would be two things at play here. One's battery life, so it does take a battery, and it's got this lithium-sized battery. It says it's a rechargeable. So this is a 650 mAh battery, high drain devices. Oh, it does say 123A. I guess that is the same size as a 123. Okay, so 123 battery. This is a rechargeable. So there's the light coming on. And the setup on this says to set up your device. So download the SimTech app and follow the instructions below. Locate your device number on the bottom of the smart sensor. Using your device number, send the following text message. So you're basically adding it to your text data service, essentially, by communicating with the app and the sensor itself. So I don't know what the range is like on it yet. I haven't tested it, obviously. There's a SIM card, haven't put that in yet either. And that looks like it goes, so there's a charging cable, I would imagine, on this. So no charging cable in here, but imagine you don't have to charge it unless you use a rechargeable 123. So that's basically the deal there. But this is kind of a first look at it. I'm really interested in playing around with this and seeing what kind of capability it has, especially the communication range and how it works, whether I had originally thought it was Wi-Fi, but it looks like it's completely cellular based. So I'm not sure if there's a plan or whether the plan kind of comes included with the device that you're buying. I'm not sure how all that works yet. So more to be seen on that. Yeah, so it says place SIM Tech in safe. There's how it works on the back. Safe opens, receive a notification. So simple as that. So if you're interested in this, I believe the website is something SimTech related. I will put it in the description just so you guys have it. I won't attempt to bastardize it here on the video, but there it is, the Duo. I was going to start over, but I'm going to play the ball as it lies. The antenna needs some work. You know, when I accidentally grabbed it by the antenna, the unit fell off. It is a magnet mount, so I'm not quite sure why the antenna doesn't have a fixed position, but you know, I know you're supposed to leave it stationary, but I think though, I don't know. I would assume the goal of the antenna is to put it up higher so it radiates the signal more or receives the signal more. But anyway, I think that needs some work. However, when you use the external antenna, there's no worry about that because the antenna is a magnet fixed point, so there really isn't anything to spin or need to spin on that. So anyway, put the link below. Check it out. Duo personal security system. Security, is that what it is? Sensor. Duo personal security sensor. Okay, before we get into the questions over coffee, which I have a couple of them today, I am going to unbox our newest shipment of Avoca coffee, which we have been drinking quite extensively here at the shop. So I'm getting their single origin stuff, and this is Misty Valley and I'm gonna screw this up. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Kabar Cabre Kian Kombe. Cabre Kian Kombe. That's, yeah. It's from Kenya, and it's a single origin. I believe that what we're drinking right now is the Misty Valley stuff. I think we still had some of that left before the new bags came in. So this is a floral aroma with blueberry, strawberry, raspberry, and cocoa flavors balanced with a pleasant acidity and creamy mouth feel. Yikes. That's a whole lot of description there. Anyway, so this is an Ethiopian coffee. This is a Kenyan coffee. So we've been kind of trying out the different single origins they have at Avoca. They are a local roaster to us. I've met the guy, Gerald, that does the roasting there. He's a super cool guy, and I love supporting local business. They're based out of Fort Worth. We're in Arlington, only about a 20-minute drive or so. And you can order online, which is pretty cool, and that's what we do. So definitely check out Avoca if you are not familiar with their coffee and you're looking for something new to try. Let's get into some questions. So first question comes from Gatornade. Gatornade, is that a username? Yeah, Twitter. How does Bryan set up his bullet journal? First of all, I do not use a bullet journal. I use a notepad. So the way that I go about this, and it's funny that this question came up because I was just describing this to Kelly the other night, kind of giving her my philosophy on carrying a notebook and what I do in the notebook and how it kind of helps me throughout my day. So I use a slight variation of the bullet journal. There's really another type of plan that I kind of follow with this, and I will link to it in the description because I can't remember the specific name of it offhand. It's not really bullet, there's another word for it. But anyway, I use the notebook that I carry in two different ways. So the front cover of the notebook opens up and I have a running list of all the action items that I hope to accomplish during the day on a specific day. So each day gets a new page. So, you know, I like this reporter style notebook. I also sometimes carry the ITS memo books that we have, which is a fold out notebook. But I do find myself coming back to the reporter style a lot, and I like grid. Grid is kind of what I like to write in. It kind of gives me an easy way to record everything because of the lines. And I can also sketch really well in grid too. I always skip the first page, and I guess I accidentally skipped the second page too in this. But the way I work this is that I have a running list on the left column. It's a numbered list, and then I circle those numbers. And I have typically between 1 and 15 things that I try to knock out during a day. So the night before, I actually start writing my list of what I want to accomplish the next day. It kind of helps me reflect on the day that just passed, because I'll carry stuff over that didn't get completed that I need to, or if it's been a couple of days and I'm still not getting to something, I'll probably do something different with it. So maybe it's an archivable project, I'll put it into Evernote. Maybe it's something more long-term, I'll put it into OmniFocus. So this is kind of my running list of the active action items that I want to complete during the day. And then on the right side of the column here, I have a numbering system. So that's a 1 through 5 priority. So 5 being the highest priority, and I'll circle that to the right. So circle number to the left, numbered list, action item, and then to the right I will put the priority. So I find myself putting more 5s than anything else, just because I like to get stuff done during the day, so I kind of prompt myself to do more of that. But I will get into like some 4s and 3s. Typically anything I put on this list is never a 1 or a 2, just because I don't put stuff that I can't accomplish during the day or I want to accomplish. So, and then each page gets a date, and as I complete those action items, you can see there's only like 5 things on this, but I'll put the date in the right column, and then as I finish that date and those things, each page gets a slash through it, and I move on to the next page. So that's kind of how I have that categorically throughout the notebook. And then I'll kind of split this in half, and the great thing about these notebooks is they've got staples in the middle, so I know where the halfway point is. And if I reach the halfway point on the day or the each day action items, I will get a new notebook, because I use the backside for notes and sketches and things like that. So I'll have different things that I have in notes. And this is just note-taking stuff. So meaning if I'm in a meeting, I'll take notes in the notebook. If I'm just drawing out something for a new product design, I'll do it in these notebooks. And then what I'll do is I'll either take a picture and add it to Evernote. If it's a sketch that I want to save for a new product design. If it's notes, I'll typically transfer those into action items inside my OmniFocus program, or add them as action items for the next day on my list of action items in the other side of the notebook. And then when I'm done with this and I've transferred the information, I'll also slash this too, so that I know that that information has been transferred and saved. So I typically go through one of these every 2 weeks or so, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. I don't find myself ever having these last more than, or even a month. So I'm typically going through a lot of notebooks. And I prefer to write really small in this too, and I find that the best pen that I've found to write small with happens to be this Mont Blanc pen. They're about $300 to $400, and the cartridge that it comes with is a brand new cartridge for Mont Blanc. They're doing these art fineliner cartridges, and I don't know if you can see the tip on there, but it's super small. So I can write really detailed with this pen. It's not so good for like signing credit card receipts and things like that, but I typically use a pen more for writing notes and, you know, working through my action items for my to-do list too. So I never like grabbing pens from random places and having the big flowers on the back when I'm signing a credit card receipt. But so that's how my long-winded answer has gone on your bullet journal question. Apologize for the long-windedness, but just came up the other day and I thought you guys might enjoy that. Okay, next question from Tyler B. on Twitter. Any recommendations for getting the most out of experiencing the Bourbon Trail? Good routes or secret handshakes at certain distilleries? Yeah, you're going to meet a man that will direct you to the Whopper layer. Honestly, I went to the Bourbon Trail for the first time with my wife Kelly and a couple of our friends, and we had an amazing time. We visited probably 8 different distilleries. The problem with the Bourbon Trail is that it's not a trail. I mean, it's kind of deceptive. So you have to, the distilleries in the area have to pay into this service to be on the Bourbon Trail. So there's also a craft distilleries trail. So there's 2 little passport books that you can get. And most of the distilleries have those passport books available. Typically when you go into one of the distilleries, they've already got their stamp in it. So basically you're collecting stamps as you go through the Bourbon Trail. However, not every distillery in Kentucky or around Bardstown participates in the Bourbon Trail program. So there's kind of a misconception there that you're just walking down this trail and all these distilleries are on the trail. It's not like that at all. Most distilleries are typically an hour away, 45 minutes, an hour, sometimes even an hour and a half away from each other. So you really can't like call an Uber and go to different distilleries. I guess you could, but it would be probably a pretty pricey experience if you did something through Uber. So, and most tastings are pretty reasonable too, so it's not like you're gonna get sloshed at a distillery and then have to drive to another one. And most tours take about an hour or so, depending on where you're going. So that's a caveat, obviously, to the Bourbon Trail and kind of how the program works. But my favorite distilleries when we were there are probably, if I had to put a number 1 on the list, it would be Buffalo Trace, not just because they make Pappy Van Winkle, but because they have an awesome ghost tour. And we actually did that at night. It was a really cool experience. They have kind of a haunted lore or legacy there on the property at Buffalo Trace. They've been around forever if you're familiar with the stuff that Buffalo Trace produces. I think they do, what else did they do? They do all the Buffalo Trace antique collection stuff. So Thomas Handy, Weller 12 comes out of there. It's a fabulous bourbon if you can get a hold of it. But that's not the reason I liked it so much. It's because the tour was really good. We actually got to see some of the production and seeing some of the bottles being filled and labeled and stuff. It was a really cool tour. And the tour guide was amazing. She had seen the ghost herself there, so she was able to kind of give some insight on that. Then also Woodford was an amazing distillery to visit. They had a great tour, and one of the reasons too was because we had an excellent tour guide. I really did not have a bad tour guide at any distillery. I think that the people that do the tours are pretty accustomed to dealing with the public and probably going through the same spiel over and over again with different tours. So at Woodford, I mean, right out of the gate, as soon as we walked out, the tour guide had us rolling, basically. So we walk outside and there's this group of 3 guys smoking. It's probably 50 feet away or so. And he literally stops the tour, turns towards the 3 guys and says, "I find it a little ironic that you guys happen to be smoking right in front of the sign that clearly states that you should not be smoking in front of the sign." And I mean, they just basically put out their cigarettes and walked away. They didn't really know what to say, but it was hilarious. Probably had to be there, but anyway, it's a good tour. Woodford was great. Let's see. Willett was a great distillery too. So top 3 would probably be Buffalo Trace, Woodford, and Willett. Willett's an awesome distillery to visit. If you can get a tour done by Drew, who's the master distiller, he doesn't really do a whole lot of tours, but he's a great guy that really knows his stuff. And it was an amazing tour to be able to kind of see everything. And I think we got the closest to the mash and everything at Willett than we did anywhere else. So that was the most probably hands-on tour that we found, just because you were right there with everything. I mean, they take you right up to the stills and everything. So great tour. If I had to pick 3 to recommend to you, those would be the ones. Maker's Mark was kind of cool too. 4 Roses we went to, but they were under construction, so there really wasn't more than like a video we watched. It's kind of lame. Hopefully they got their tours back up and running. Went to a couple of craft distilleries too. So all in all, it was a great trip. We really enjoyed it. However, it's really tough to recommend like where to stay or anything because all the distilleries are so far apart. Bardstown is kind of the main local area. So if you're staying there, you still got to trek pretty far to get to some of the other distilleries. So again, sorry about the long-windedness. Last question comes from Witchdoc on YouTube. What is the green shirt you were wearing in Gear Tasting 118? If I remember correctly, that's a button-up shirt with kind of this weird tab dangling on the side, and that is a Target special. I got that for Target for like 30 bucks. Cool shirt. They probably still have them since it's winter apparel season. There you go. Hey guys, thanks for watching Gear Tasting. If you're interested in picking up one of these cool mugs that say Gear Tasting and help promote the show, oh, look at that. You can hold your cup left-handed and still have the logo facing out. Get them on the ITS store, store.itstactical.com. And also, if you like what we're doing here on Gear Tasting, please consider supporting the show through our Patreon channel, patreon.com/ITStactical. We've got some great stuff to give you in return for your patronage on Patreon. Also, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. We would like to increase our views by YouTube showing our video to more people, and the way to do that is to ask you to subscribe. All you guys out there that aren't subscribed, it will get our videos in front of new faces and people to bring more awareness to the channel, and we would love to do that and appreciate your help in doing that. As always, if you have questions, use the # Gear Tasting on any social media network. We will find them and answer them here on Gear Tasting. Thanks for watching.